What's up? Good morning, y'all. Hope everyone's doing well. My name is Joshua Betancourt, and I have a channel related to transformation and change and growth and kind of spiritual realization and personal development. So I put together these talks and just put together content and ideas and kind of strategies or philosophies related to some of the things that I've learned along my path. And so that's what we're doing here today is we're putting out a little message today. I think it's an important one. I'm going to be talking a little bit about conditioning and the importance of conditioning on kind of a personal level, spiritual level, as well as a physical level. So I'm glad that you're here. If this is your first time here, welcome. If you're coming back and visiting once again, I really appreciate you guys and all of the contributions that you make to the message that I'm putting out to the world, or that we're putting out to the world. So yeah, welcome. This is Paradigm Shifting. So cool. Thanks for your time, and for all of you who are watching this, at a later time. Thanks for coming back and checking out the content that I'm putting out. So I wanted to have a quick conversation with you all related to this idea of conditioning. The world that we're living in is in a pretty volatile state, in the sense that there's a lot of upheaval taking place. There's a lot of transition and change that's being called for and actually coming. And this has been in the works for some time from my perspective, right? There's been a lot of development and advancement from a conscientious awareness perspective in many, many people, right? It's becoming more and more of a common theme as far as the content of change, right? And what people are striving for. So I think this message about conditioning is there's a beautiful robin sitting right outside of my window right now. It's really cool. It's awesome. Anyhow, so there's this really important message kind of related to conditioning and as it applies to this change. And it like this message came to me, so I wanted to share it with you all. So I guess the easiest way to start is by saying that you're a creature of your experience, right? The definition, the perspective of who you are and how you define yourself is based on the experiences that you've had and the knowledge that you've acquired, and the kind of perception that you've had of who it is that you are and what it is that you are and what it is that you believe that you're capable of. And as that truth, right, you're a product of not only your environment and what you know, but your conditioning. And as I think about this, and I think about kind of the normal streams of media where people kind of gather their information, or how our children learn, right, via I remember growing up that there was a lot of television, right? There was a lot of video games and a lot of television, but the advancement of like social platforms hadn't come about yet. And it had a huge impact on me, right? The content that I was taking in. If I was watching something scary on television, that those thoughts were running through my mind, and they were being kind of retained as the possibility of something fearful happening just based on what I was looking at. Well, the reality is that there's been decades and decades of research that has gone into this process related to television programming, and it's called television programming for a reason, right? They have done studies related to how to capture your attention and hold your attention, and how to, bypass your frontal cortex or your conscious awareness and kind of make suggestions from at a subconscious level. And that's why it feels so good to watch television sometimes, or to watch movies sometimes, because you're zoning out and you're not really thinking about anything except the content that you're taking in. So, kind of watching some of those experiments, or even just paying attention to the rest of your family whenever you're watching a really good movie, or watching children or teenagers zone out on a video game, their conscientious awareness of their surroundings and other aspects of things that are happening around them is completely obscured, right? And they're just completely focused on what's coming through that television screen or what have you. So it's important to understand the history behind that, in the sense that there has been conditioning taking place in your life, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, for pretty much your entire life up until this point. And because of that, there's kind of these predictive behaviors around, marketing and business and kind of societal structures and the like, right? And all of that, and that the majority of that does come through from, our television, comes through from, what we perceive on social media. The reality is that that's only one small aspect of the things that are truly happening, right, in life, in the world, in reality. And for the most part, as we take in all of this information, especially when it's being broadcast to millions and millions of people, right, there's this general consensus of, oh, this is the reality. And not to take away from the fact that there are horrible things happening in the world, because there's always horrible things happening in the world, but just to highlight the idea that, especially in the United States, right, the majority of the media that we get through the traditional platforms is geared towards establishing ratings, right? It's geared towards, making sure that people want to continue to watch. And what they've discovered is that the things that are negative, the things that cause kind of a strong emotional response, right, are the things that are most likely to keep people glued into the television and enhance, in essence, continue those ratings, right, and continue the popularity of that channel. It's a business model. So the reason why I want to explain this, and I'm sure it's common knowledge and everyone's aware of it, but the reason that I want to explain this is because your conditioning is happening whether you're consciously aware of it or not, right? And the message for today is really to be a catalyst to help people understand how to reclaim their conditioning, and really change the inner structure of who it is that we are through this process, right? Because we either do it or we don't, right? We're either the captain of our ship or we're not, right? We either, determine the direction of our life, or we sit back and let things unfold happenstance. And I think that, really now more than ever, it's important for, especially, just considering everything that's taking place, right? It's really important for us to have a definitive direction, right, and structure related to who it is that we intend to be, and how we can reclaim our health, our mental health, our emotional health, our physical health, our spiritual health, and use that as an example for others to follow. So that's really the message around why I wanted to talk about conditioning. So let's take a step back. So, from a neurolinguistic programming perspective, right, this idea of beliefs, right, is instrumental in playing out the way that we respond to the world, what it is that we believe that we're capable of being and doing and being successful at, and that in turn corresponds to our courage and our intent and our drive to do and pursue those things that bring us joy. And now more than ever, I think that is a really, really important thing for humanity, because there's so much of the opposite, right? There's so much of the negative that comes through in the traditional media, that it's those moments of joy and those moments of elation and those moments of love and those moments of safety and compassion and kindness, right, and empathy, right? All of those moments, while we do experience them and they are there, it's nothing that's being promoted in our traditional forms of consumption. So if it's not there, then we have to create that in our own lives for ourselves. And that can be challenging, right? Because one, you already have all of this existing conditioning that you're addicted to, for lack of a better term. You're addicted to your telephone, right? You're addicted to your social media platforms. You're addicted to kind of your habituated monotony of the way that you go about your life, right? I mean, 99% of us wake up, we do the same thing every morning. We get ready, we take a shower, we prepare ourselves for work, perhaps we make breakfast, but it's a repetitive pattern and it's a repetitive cycle that's basically conditioned into who it is that we are and what it is that we believe that we're capable of. For some individuals, right, we push the envelope, right? We try new things. We go out and we, learn new skills, try to learn new languages, experience the world, right? And all of those things enhance who we are as a person, right? And they're really, really healthy for you, and that's why they feel so good when you're, traveling and seeing a new part of the world, or, trying something new as far as, cuisine might be concerned, or going out and learning something new. There's this associated, like, really awesome feeling related to that expansion process. But we can take control of that expansion process, right? We can determine our capacity to really grow. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to go out into the world or experience these new things or make all these acquisitions, but just by taking on some ownership of what our internal processes are going to be, right? What our commitment to this growth process is going to be. So, that being said, and I went off on a little bit of a tangent there, but that being said, there's a bunch of conditioning that's already within you, right? So this idea of beliefs and kind of reframing the way that we perceive things, the way that we believe, the things that we believe, and what we believe about ourselves is important to take that internal reflection and understand it. So think about, like, if you have these limiting beliefs, think about if you have this internal dialogue that isn't serving you, right? This negative dialogue of fear, right? Of scarcity, of, whatever it might be that doesn't make you feel good. Those are all indicators that those are areas that you need to work on, right? And the way that you work on that is by taking a really deep look at what caused you to believe that. And it may be that you're just taking in so much negative information from the existing media today, or that you're only seeing negative things, that your mind only knows how to respond and only knows how to resonate in that frequency of negativity. If that's the case, then, my suggestion is, what are the things that make you feel good, right? What are the relationships that bring you joy, that bring you excitement? And exercise those. Bring those experiences into your life more frequently, right? If it's the idea of getting out and exercising, right? I enjoy riding my bike, and I haven't ridden my bike in a long time, and I went and rode my bike the other day, and it was amazing. It was an amazing experience to get out there for a couple of hours and just push really, really hard. It felt really good, and my mind was really, really clear. It was just a beautiful day. That experience was beautiful to me, and it made me feel really good. We need to more consistently practice these types of activities and these types of experiences, as well as bring them into the life of our immediate, surrounding, our immediate circle, the people that we love, the people that we care for. So the more that we do that, right, the more we condition this alternate frequency, the more that we radiate and we live in what is the light of life. What is this expression of being a light to others, right? It has a lot to do with self-care and how much we're willing to kind of put into the work related to self-care. And that's not an easy thing, right? And we don't get there easily because we have all of these existing kind of internal dialogues that might be, preventing us from kind of experiencing that on a regular basis. But the idea is consistency. If it's meditating that you enjoy doing, or if it's yoga that you enjoy doing, or if it's reading your Bible, or whatever it is that brings you into the state of peace and calm and joy and love and light, it's important that we focus on that. It's really important that we develop a habit related to that it eventually becomes a conditioned way of being for us. And that's really, at a high level, kind of a foundational change, right? It's, how much do we believe it, right? How often do we practice it? How often do we experience it because we practice it? And then, then it just naturally becomes part of our reality, part of our existence, part of our persona, part of who it is that we are. So this idea of conditioning is either subconscious or conscious, right? We can either let the world around us condition us, or we can use our intention and our focus and our intelligence and our emotions and our mind to condition ourselves to experience the life that we want to experience, the life that we want to live, to be the light, to be the beacon, right? To be the guide, right? For others to emulate and follow. And I think that this message is really, really important for us right now because of all of the upheaval and all of the change and all of the negativity that's just being pushed into the world. We need more of this consistently, and it starts with us, the individual, right? It starts with us bringing it into our life on our own, and then eventually that will naturally kind of radiate towards everyone else. So that's kind of the paradigm shift message for today. I hope that everyone is holding up. I know it's difficult and challenging, but I hope everyone's holding up well. Know that you are loved. Know that you are an expression of love, and that you can be that. And the more of us that exist there, the better the world will be. All right, I love you guys sincerely. I love you, love you, love you. Thanks for watching, and until next time, this is Paradigm Shifting.